Hi guys, welcome to the session of NPBI works. Last session we have covered Power BI architecture and components of Power BI. So, and we have discussed different components of Power BI. Today we are going to discuss about the functionality which is available in Power BI desktop. So we're going to concentrate today the topics of Power BI query editor, which allow you to make up your raw data into usable format. So let's start the session. So as usual, I'm going to be the presenter, and I'm starting the Power BI query editor session today. So today's agenda is understanding Power BI queries and usage in Power BI. Power BI file extensions, like what are the different file extensions? How can we save the files in Power BI? So, like there are different extensions we can discuss later. Advanced query editor. So we will discuss about this also. Next topic is like how to prepare your raw data into usable format by doing some data cleansing and transformations. So another thing we are going to discuss is today like how to combine multiple files into single table in Power BI desktop. Another concept we are going to discuss is unpivot, like columns to rows. So we are going to see how we can do that thing in Power BI. And like before all these things, we need to verify the data types of each column once we import into Power BI desktop. So that is also we are going to see how we can change the data type of each column. And then last topic we are going to see today is integrating multiple queries. Integrating multiple queries is nothing but like if you have multiple tables which you need to do join or append. So those concepts we are going to cover today. So let's go to the topic like what is Power BI query editor and what are the options we have. So let's discuss like what is Power BI query editor. It is a feature in Power BI desktop and it is an ETL component of Power BI desktop and it is independent of Power BI desktop. It is a component inside the Power BI desktop, but whatever you perform, like you do some transformations or you do some data cleansing operations in Power BI query editor, that will not be applied into Power BI desktop until unless you save the content, whatever like the transformations or cleansing or whatever you do in Power BI query editor. It's nothing but Power BI like Excel's Power Query. So we can connect to one or many data sources. Another thing, we can shape and transform the data to meet your needs. And finally, we will load that model into Power BI desktop. So what are like different ways we can get the data and how it reacts, like how it behaves when we do when we import data by using import option, or when you store the data by using direct query mode or live connection option. So let's see what happens, how query editor treats when you get the data into Power BI by using import option. So first thing is it won't edit, like it don't edit original data set, whatever like from the source, like you have Excel spreadsheet or you have SharePoint as a source in Excel, like you have Excel spreadsheet in SharePoint, or you are importing tables from a database or any other sources. So it won't edit the original data set. It is a just copy of imported data. So how like this is the action when we do, like when we get the data by using import storage mode. So how we treats when we use direct query mode or live connection option. So it also don't edit the original data set, but it always tries to get the data by connecting to the original data source. So it, like when you use this direct query mode or live connection option, it always gets the data from the original source. So that is the thing. So what are the advantages of Power BI query editor? We can do the like multiple transformations of data and no effect on original data set. We can modify the data set easily. We can do the data set refresh in like when you want to update, just open Power BI query editor, just select the data set, you can do that data set refresh, and you can click close it and apply. So latest data will be there in Power BI desktop. So we will see in action how can we do that data set refresh in Power BI desktop and Power BI query editor. Let's go to the next slide. So here comes the option like what are the different file extensions PBIX and PBIT. What is meaning, like what is PBIX and what is PBIT? PBIX is a file which contains queries created with help of Power BI query. So, and another option is like PBIX file contains imported using queries, imported data like data imported using queries. PBIX file contains data modeling definitions and also reports whichever you have created in Power BI desktop. So how can we save this? I can like I will show in the next session, like in the session later. And what is PBIT? PBIT is nothing but just a template, and it won't store the data. It stores just visualizations whatever you have created in the template. It is like why what is the like usage of Power BI template file. So if you want to share across your team, like when you have like you imported the data into PBIX file, so if your data set is like a huge size, so you cannot share in the mail or somewhere, some like some through some channel. So at the time you can save the report, like Power BI report into PBIT, Power BI template file, and you can share that low size file, like a less sized file to your teammates or someone else in the organization. So how it looks like, how what is the PBIX file looks like, and what is PBIT file looks like. I have mentioned Unpivot hyphen template, that is PBIT file, and other one is PBIX file. This is the difference between the uh, look and feel of each file, how it looks. So it's like PBIX file will be saved with the .pbix, other will be .pbit. Let's go to the next slide. How to access query editor in Power BI desktop. So there are two options. When you open Power BI desktop, it asks like when you click on like when you open like get data, so it will allow you to like click on edit. In the first slide it is showing when you selected a particular table, it gives you the option to select edit button. So if you click on edit, it will take you to the Power BI query editor. Another option is after like without going like without selecting any data first option as a first option, when you are into the Power BI desktop, you will have the option under external data section in the Power BI desktop under home tab. So these are the ways we can access like query editor. Let's see in Power BI desktop how can we go to the Power BI query editor. As I have given like query editor is the this is the option you can click on and you can do the transformations whatever it, like you want. If you see here new source in the query editor, like there are multiple options we have. So data source settings, manage parameters, and the query options like properties, advanced query editors, and choose columns like manage columns, remove columns, keep rows, all those options. So I'm just closing out, and this is the report view of Power BI desktop, and this is the data view, and this is the relationship view of Power BI desktop. So here we will create the relationships. Here we can see the data of each table we imported into Power BI desktop, and then we can use final data set to create the reports here. So let's see how can we save the file, like Power BI file, into PBIX and PBIT file. So if you click on save as, it will show you like what is the different file extensions you have. So here you can select whether you want to save it as PBIX file or PBIT file. PBIX file allow you to store the data. PBIT will not store the data. So that is the difference between PBIT and PBIX file. So how can we import PBIT files into the Power BI desktop? You have PBIT file, and you can select like import option, and you can select PBIT file. So if you want to export, you can export into PBIT file. This is another option to save your Power BI work into Power BI template. So if you see the description what it is giving, so export the current report as a new template. So I hope this makes it clear, like what is PBIT and what is PBIX, and how can we go to Power BI query editor. So this is another option when you open Power BI desktop. It is in the process. Once it comes, it gives you the option to get data. So when you click on get data option, so you select some file. Now it shows like if you select that particular table, it gives you the load option, edit option, cancel option. So if you click on load, it will directly load the data into Power BI desktop. If you click on edit, it will take you to the Power BI query editor. Let's click on query editor. So now you see what is the data which is available in the spreadsheet, whatever like we use to import into Power BI desktop. If you see these applied steps, we will see in the later session. So like in the next slides, we have this section we can discuss, and we can perform multiple operations like remove rows option, and keep rows option, remove columns option, and we have merge and append option. We can discuss these things in the later session, but like all other options I'll cover in the next sessions. So for now, just I'm clicking close and apply. So it will import into Power BI desktop. That's it. So I haven't made any changes for now, just like I imported. That's it. So let's go to the next topic. So I told how to access query editor. Till now, we covered Power BI extensions, what are the different file extensions, and how can we access Power BI query editor real time. So let's go to the next slide. So before doing any transformations or anything like any operation, like if you want to create one report, you are trying to import the data into Power BI desktop. So you need to be very clear about your data set, and you need to find the like you need to know the different grains of the data which you need to present it to the business. So like final output you are giving it to the business will be depending on the grain defined on facts and dimensions. So like what is grain, like if you want to discuss a little bit about what is grain, so it is a level at which facts are measured. So that means like suppose if you want to find out what is the lowest level of information stored in a fact table, so you can like if you don't define a particular grain, you cannot identify what is the lowest level of information available in the fact. So and another at the same time, what is the highest level of information stored in the fact table. So these kinds of information we can define like when you know particular grain of the fact table. So, for example, if you see what was the total sales for previous year and current year. So, and another example, like you can say what was the sales by manager and each salesperson, and what was the sales by product category. What was the sales growth in sales from quarter to quarter in every year, like that. So we can like we have to define the grain, because this is the most important thing before going to give the solution. So as per the Ralph Kimball, the grain must be declared before choosing dimension or fact. So please keep in mind, don't forget about grains. So let's move to the next topic. So how can we import data from different sources, and like what are the different sources we can use in Power BI? Like there are multiple sources we can use. So if you select a get data option in Power BI desktop, if you see the option which I have given in get data section from the Power BI desktop, first it is showing all. If you select all, it will show all the data sources, like by combining what are different data sources like allowed in Power BI desktop. So file, database, Power BI, Azure, online service, other. So there are multiple data sources. So if you see I have selected file, it is showing what are different data sources available under file, data sources. Same way I have selected database, what are the different databases allowed in Power BI desktop. So let's see in the Power BI desktop real time. So I'm talking about this section, get data. You will be, by default, it will show some options, but you can see what all different options available, like what all different data sources available. As I told, all is nothing but it will give the data sources which are available in Power BI desktop. It is the combined data sources list from all the below data sources allowed in Power BI desktop. So if I select a file, it gives what are different data sources which is allowed under file. The same way, if I select database, it is like SQL Server database, Access database, what are the different databases allowed in Power BI. So if you select Power BI, you might feel interesting, like what is the Power BI? So what are the different sources available? Any guesses here? So you can import the data sets already available in Power BI service in your organization. So you can import the Power BI data sets from Power BI like data sets which is already published in Power BI service. So this is another option. Azure, we have Azure SQL database, Azure SQL data warehouse, Azure analysis services database. Like that, we have multiple data connectivities permissions allowed in Power BI. Another option is online services. You can download the data from the web and you can use it for your reporting purposes. So there are different online services like Dynamics 365 online and SharePoint online, like Salesforce objects. Like you can import the data from GitHub, Mailchimp, Marketo. So there are different options available. And other option, it has different like web and Vertica beta. Like this is beta is nothing but it is not the live one. So beta means it is under preview mode. You can use it, but some features might not be enabled. So this is the live version. So whichever have like no beta, so that is nothing but live version. So there are multiple data sources permitted in Power BI desktop. So let's see another option in Power BI desktop in our slides. So applied steps. I have showed 2 minutes before, like when I open Power BI query editor, on the left hand side, applied steps option is there. So what is applied steps? It is nothing but a query is created as a sequence of steps. Suppose you have promoted your first row as headers, and that is one step, and you have changed the data types of each column, that is another step, and you have removed unwanted columns, that is third step, and you have merged two columns, that is fourth step. Like that, each step will be recorded in a sequential manner, and it will be given as a applied steps at the left side of the Power BI query editor. Let's let's see. So like we can see real time in Power BI query editor in Power under Power BI desktop. Let's see that option real time in the next few minutes. So what is applied steps? A query is created as a sequence of steps. Each step is parameterized operation on the data. It is nothing but, so you have promoted your first row as a headers. That step output will be taken as input to the next step. So that is the one. So you can, each step can be viewed or edited in the formula bar. So I'll show that option in Power BI query editor. And query starts with source step, like external source step to extract data from data source. Additional steps added to perform transform operations on data. You can replay query operations one by one, clicking on each step. I'll show this option also real time. So this is how like it looks like applied steps. Here, first applied step is nothing but source. Source is nothing but, if you see here in the like right hand side, source equal to excel.workbook of file content of from where this file like data source was brought from. So the next step, if you click on the navigation, what data is there? So all these options like what are performed, that code will be generated as like this in the backend by Power BI query editor. This is nothing but a language which is used to perform your transactions, like perform like used to manipulate your final data set by using data mashup language called M. Advanced editor language, nothing but advanced editor language. And where we can see, let's see now. So earlier I have imported sales for 2013. Sales for year 2013. Let's go to the query editor. So now if you see here, you are able to navigate between the different applied steps. This is nothing but applied steps. If you select the source, it will show the formula which is used for that particular step in the formula bar of the query editor. If you see this one, this is the formula bar, and this is the formula excel.workbook file.contents, and then the path, and then null. If it is blank, it will give null, otherwise it make true. So this is the formula which is used in Excel, like similar to the Excel formula bar. So when you click on the navigation, it will show the data. So if you see here, I have area, sales area and sales as headers, but it should come in the column 1, column 2, column 3 area, but it is coming under that. Then like now we need to make like we need to use the transformations to perform to make this as a header. Just you can click on use first row as a header, so it will insert this step. So the same option, like once you like by default Power BI automatically generates first row as a header, but sometimes it might not recognize first row as a header. At that time, you need to do this operation manually. I am deleting this operation because it is already performed by Power BI desktop, Power BI query editor. If you see now, like earlier we have selected here, this operation just imported data. So this step has converted your first row into headers. If you see the function of this transformation, it is promote headers. So this is the formula which is used to convert into headers. And after this, it will change the data types. It will recognize, Power BI query editor will recognize the data types for each column. If you see here, it is showing 1, 2, 3. There are different data types we will discuss later. And the remaining all are text, so it is showing as ABC. So this is how you can see applied steps, and very useful. And you can change the steps if you want, based on your needs. Suppose you performed one task prior to the other task, you want to navigate like the task to further, just you can delete, or you can change, you can just click on this one, it will be deleted. So like this you can perform all these transactions or like transformations under Power BI query editor. All these options we normally do in ETL tools, right? So like Power BI desktop allows you to do all these things. So let's go to the next topic. Yeah, advanced editor, like if you click on this, the entire code will be generated here. So what all transformations you performed on your data set will be shown here. So this is what Power BI query editor, very strong feature, like very best feature to perform your data transformation. And finally you can prepare your raw data into usable manner in Power BI desktop. Until unless you click on close and apply or apply here, it will not be shown in Power BI desktop. Remember, the changes, like suppose you have imported now and you want to do some changes, so you went to query editor. Until unless you click on apply or close and apply, you have both same things. Close and apply means it directly closes. If you click close, it will close without applying the changes what you performed. And if you click on apply, it will apply the changes. So let's click on apply. So automatically now you have uh, the data set, final data set. So just you can select, by default when you select particular column under the data set, by default visualization will be table. So it's based on the, like if based on the data set, it gives the, if you select attribute first time, by default it gives the table. Let's select a measure now. It gives the bar chart. It should give the bar chart. Sorry, I have selected sales area. So now I have selected sales. If you select a measure, by default it will give you the bar chart. If you select an attribute, it will give you the table. So these are the two notable points to, like these are the two rememberable points. That's it. So if you select any attribute, by default visualization will be table. And if you select a measure, by default visualization will be the bar chart. Clustered column chart will be the default chart. So here we have what all different visualizations we can use in Power BI. We have additional things also there. We can discuss these things in the later sessions. So let's go to the next topic we're going to cover today. So combine. So what is combine? So you have multiple files and you want to use that multiple files, and you want to generate the final data set by performing multiple transformations or data cleansing. So you can use combine option. So the combine option is nothing but you have multiple files in the same folder and you can import into Power BI query editor like Power BI desktop, and you can perform the transformations whatever required, and you can prepare the final data set. So let's see, let's go to the next slide, and like let's see how can we uh, perform this, like how can we combine the data set, like when we have multiple files, how can we import, and how can we combine all three different files into single file, single table. So the flow is like see the data in different files and import and then extract into Power BI. These are the slides. Let's see the real time data, real time in Power BI. How can we combine multiple files into Power BI desktop? So I'm clicking on more option, and then let's select file. Here you have folder option. Even no need to come to the file, just if you know like how which one to select, directly select folder and just click on connect. Here it will ask for the path, just give the file path, or you can directly browse uh, from your desktop, and you can click OK. So it will take you to the, it will give you the different files. Here I have sales for East region and sales for North region, sales for South region, and sales for West region. If you click on load, it will directly load, and but you want to check before loading, then you click on combine and edit. It will take you to the query editor by combining all the data. If you click on combine and load, it directly combines and loads without going to query editor. I want to go to query editor, so I'm just clicking on combine and edit. So if you see here what all the different options showing up here. The first file, it is going to select as east, but by default it is selecting east, but you want to make west or north or south, you can select, but it's okay whether, like until unless the same structure, same column names, no need to worry. So file origin from where, like it is just like it is by default options. What is the delimiter you have in that source file? You have colon or comma or equal sign or semicolon sign or space sign or tab sign. So I'm selecting tab as a delimiter, and the data type detection. So it will show based on first 200 rows or based on entire data, do not detect data types. So based on like first 200 rows will be fine, because if you have, like normally we do this option when we have similar data in all the files and similar data types, so no need to worry. If you want to check entire data, you can check, and if you don't want to detect any data types, select this option and click on OK. So now it will open in query editor. Like, so let's see how it will show that option. Now it is loaded. Finally, we have combined all three sales data, and I'm just clicking on like renaming the data set, final data set, sales by region. So if you want to check the data types and if you want to change the data types, just click on the query editor. It will take you to the query editor part of the data set. So first column is showing as source.name. So from where this data is imported into Power BI Query Editor, east sales.txt. What are the different columns? So each column seems have correct data type. So no need to change. Power BI already detected the data type. Sometimes date columns will have timestamp. So you need to change it to date based on your data set. So that it will be used in a required format. So just to see the number of products sold by color, just you can click on count or count district. It will give you the products count based on the color. Like this you can do simple transformations, and you can use it for your visualizations. You can increase the text size to see as it is very low, so just increase this text size here. So you can now let's have the same and just copy paste, and we can change the visualization also. So if you see here, you have black and it is a pie chart, and you can select a bar chart and select. So you can make the color changes based on the slides manually, or just go to the here, drag the color column into the legend section. By default, it will give you the color. But as per the naming convention, it says black, red, blue. So go to the data colors option under the format section. Just select a black color for black, red for red, blue for blue. So you can select the color. So this is how you can do, like you can customize your visualizations simply. So really good options. We can like good, like we can convert our data into meaningful way. So for every chart you can do the changes for the required format. If you select like the black will be black, red will be red, blue will be blue. So these are the options. So this is how we can perform multiple operations, and we can finally prepare the visualizations based on business requirement. Let's go to the next topic. Let me save this file. Session to our BI query editor. So now let's do other topic. Unpivot the data, means like pivot and unpivot. What is unpivot and what is pivot? Unpivot will convert columns into rows, and pivot will convert rows into columns. So unpivot, why I'm saying, sometimes like always you will not receive a proper data set, like final data set from the business. Sometimes you have to perform the transformations on the data sets you have received. So unpivot is the option, like how we can unpivot the data in Power BI Query Editor. Let's see that, like what all different steps, like get data and then select the file or spreadsheet from wherever you want, and then you click on edit, and then you need to add a custom column to find out what is the content available. And the next steps are like this. After adding the custom column, this is how we are going to see the data and then when you click on this expand button, it will show the columns, and you by default this will be it will be selected, and you can select you should, like if you don't want to have the original column name as a prefix, just click on, like uncheck it and click OK, and finally you will see this data like this. And if you click on the table, it will show the data, or just expand, it will show the data. So let's see what all options available. If you see the final data set, when I clicked on unpivot columns, it will come like this. Our final data should be like this after converting columns into rows. This is what. And let's see that unpivot option real time in Power BI desktop. Let me select this option first. Unpivot. So now let me click on get data and select the file which you want to do, like which you want to perform the unpivot option. Okay, I have multiple files, so I can import one by one file, and but I have another option of selecting a folder and then import all files at a time. So just click on browse. It will let you to select the path. Yeah, just if you have path ready, just give that path and click OK. So it will take you to the multiple files. So if you click on combine and edit or combine and load, it directly performs the operation. But I need to do some transformation on this data set, because you cannot see the data if you have content column as binary. You need to have, like you need to note this point. You need to have content. If you don't see the content column, then something is wrong. Okay. So just click on edit. It will take you to the Power BI query editor. Now, as I told you to add a custom column to find out what is the content available under content column. So for that, the function used is excel dot workbook of particular content column. You can just click on this, it will take you. So here the syntax will be verified. Just it, if it is wrong, it shows something like it shows as wrong. So it is wrong, like some token is like a warning. So it is wrong, so it's like this. So just make sure you give the correct syntax so that it will work properly. So I have added the function. Now if you see, the custom column was created. So what is the content available under that particular content column, which is given in the first? Let me reorder the column. So if you see this one, content, it is showing as binary. But what is available in this particular column, custom column, under the binary, it is a table. So, and if you see this one, it is a reordered column. It was created as additional step under applied steps section. So if you click on advanced editor, you will see the sequential steps, and for each step, the prior step name will be taken as input, added custom. So for added custom, what is input? Source is the input. So the M language I'm going to discuss in the next sessions. That is very useful. So we'll cover in that next sessions. Let's do some transformation on this final data set. So I need only these two. So I don't need others. So just select these two columns and right click and click on remove other columns, or select each individual column and delete remove columns. So this is time taking process. Just select the two required columns and just click on remove other columns. It is like it deleted other columns. And now if you see here, as I have given in the presentation, it is showing two arrows. If you click on this, it will show the content, like what are the different columns available under that table. So if you click on load more, what are different columns available. And here, as I told, use original column name as prefix. So if you want, you can keep it, but generally it is not required. Just uncheck this and select name and data column only. So if you select like this, it will give name and data. Name is nothing but the spreadsheet name in each file, and data is nothing but what is the content available under that particular sheet. If you select the particular table, particular cell value here, it will show what is the content available here. Same way, I have selected another row. Say it is showing 2014 sales. It is showing 2015 sales. It is showing 2016 sales. So if you click on table, it is showing only 1 year data. So something is wrong. Seems like you have did something wrong. When you received the data set, you have to verify. So normally it should be like you combine multiple files, and all those four files should be shown here. Four files data, like four, like the content available under four files, it should show here as different columns, but it was not showing. So what happened, like what is the thing you need to correct it. So let's see the data sets what we have uh, used for unpivot option. If you see this one, it is showing, it is just like a spreadsheet. It is just spreadsheet. And if you check whether it is table or not, click on Control T, and it is not a table. It is asking you to create a table. So when you receive the data set, you need to make sure whether it is a table or not. So if it is not a table, convert into table like this, and your data set will be like when you import it into Power BI desktop, it will be a table. So let me close this, and I will use other data set which I already prepared for Unpivot. Let me close this data. Let me delete. Let's get data freshly. So select folder, click connect. So it will ask you for path, give the path, click OK, and it will give you the content. As I told, don't go to the combine and edit. It will directly load the data. So, but this is not the result what we are expecting. So if you see here, it is taking first file as a source, and so you have selected a table. So if you click OK, it will base this one and it will give all the data. But I don't want like this. If you see here, it is something wrong. I don't want like this. So I want to click on edit option when you get that option. Just let's see, let's observe that. Click on folder, give the path, click OK, click on edit. Now go to add columns and add custom column. Here you need to find out what is the content available under the binary formatted file. So just use excel dot workbook of content. Click OK. So your required column is ready. Just do reorder, keep it beside of name and just select those two columns and right click and remove other columns. So your final data set is ready and click on extract. Same way here, you just click on load all the columns and uncheck, just select whatever required. Click on OK. Now if you see, you have the sheet name and the table for each spreadsheet. Now filter only table, select only table because I want data in a tabular format. So just click on table and click on expand. You select, you see, you can list may be incomplete. If you click on load more, what all columns available under each column will be shown here. So if you click OK, it will give like this. What I told, we want to do unpivot. Just select the column from where you want to do unpivot. Just go to transform and click on unpivot. It will give you the data whatever required. So now you see, and you just unhide these two columns, remove columns, and now you can use this data set by clicking close and apply here, and the final normalized data set is ready for your use. And rename the columns because category, just select category attribute value. Just select category and what are the values based on different quarters, what is the sales based on values based on quarter and year. So now your data set is ready. Just you, you can select any visualization, just you can click on it. It will show your data set according to your format. That's it. That's about unpivot. Now let's go to pivot. Just go to the Microsoft slide. So it will show you the options. I'm like to cover all other topics. I'm just giving the link. It is nothing but just converting rows into columns. So perform these steps. I will just paste this link in conversation. For me, like I'm preparing from the like Microsoft source or some other. That's it. Like this, you guys have to explore. I'll give this chart later because I'm not able to go to the conversation. So now the most important thing after importing the data into Power BI desktop is verifying the data types of each column. And if you feel that the data type for a particular column you have to change, you need to change manually. What all the different data types supported by Power BI is numeric types, decimal number, fixed decimal number, whole number, percentage, like that. Date and time types, date, time, date time, time zone, and duration. Different data types are there, as well as text and binary format data types. These are the data types supported by Power BI. So let's see in Power BI desktop. So if you click on query editor, it will show the data types for each column. So if you see the source name, it is a text format, so it is text. So you can see here true or false, or binary, or text, or duration. These are like date and time data types. These are like number data types, like floated number or decimal number, and whole number and percentages. So seems this data type is correct, this data type is correct, and this is correct, this is correct. So units is correct, price is a whole number, like a decimal number, so it is correct. Total is having decimal number, this is correct. Suppose if you have date time, just if you have like this, you don't want the timestamp, just convert into date. Sometimes you want only time, just click on this, it will replace you. It is giving error because original data set not have any time. So make sure you are applying proper data type. So that's it. So these are the different data types available. You can change here. Otherwise, transform, and you can change the data type from here too. So these are the options like to change the data types. Let's see what is the next topic. So today's like important concept you have to remember is merge and append. So what is the merge and what is the append? Append is nothing but union all in T-SQL. Merge is like similar to join. So just let's see what is merge and how can we do merge in Power BI, and how can we do append in Power BI. We'll see. So what merge merge do? So merge allows us to establish relationships between queries, and this allows us to replace the use of many different kinds of lookup operations that would normally require the use of formula in multiple cells with a single join operation. Sometimes you might need to use the DAX, like use relationship, and you have to calculate some measures. So instead of, sometimes like if they are small tables, no need to do, like if you don't want to create any calculations, just perform merge operations by using those two tables into a single table, so that your data set will be simpler data set, and you can use that data set directly without performing, like without creating any additional calculations. So that is the use. And what are the different joins allowed in Power BI? So as usual, left outer join, right outer join, inner join, full outer join, all these allowed. Addition to these four, we have left anti and right anti. So we can see those options, how it will show when we apply in Power BI desktop. So the scenario is like, I have, now we'll do one example with the available data set I have. So like with the data set, so I have employee table which contains personal information and salary. Hire table contains the details of each employee, like when he joined and how many years, like he is like from how many years he is continuing with company, means age, nothing but age in that particular company. And location dimension, it is nothing but geographical information of each unique employee. So now the goal is, I want to merge three tables, and I want to create a final table, and I don't want all the columns from remaining table. So I want you guys to make employee table as a base table, and want to perform the merge operation. So when you do merge operation, what are the different steps we follow in Power BI query editor? So let's see that. So first, as usual, get data and then select all three tables and import into Power BI query editor. If you want to edit the data types, click on edit and edit there. Even you load, it will load into Power BI desktop, and then you go to Power BI query editor and then you do the data types change. Then you can see different data available in each table like this. So we have two options available in merge queries transformation. So if you select merge queries as new and merge queries, what it will do? If you select merge queries as new, it will create the final table as a new query. If you select merge queries, it will create the final query as the selected table. So let's see how they behave, and finally we will arrive the required data set. When you select merge queries as new, because I have three tables, I don't want to create in this like the original data set. I just want to like a selected employee table and clicked on merge queries as a new. So it is giving this box. So the next step is select other table with which table you want to join, and then select the join kind. Then it will like when you select particular join, I have selected here inner join. It gives only matching rows. So this section has 5,000 rows out of 5,000 rows. So first has 5,000 rows and second has 5,000 rows, all matched. So I am selecting all the rows. So then let's go to the next step, what it will do. So you have performed the merge option. So the merge option will give you the second table as a last column like this. So if you click on this double arrow, it will allow you to this like allow you to select the required columns. So you select required columns and click OK. If you see here at the end of the first table, it given the selected columns: hire dot date of joining, hire dot age in company. Okay, like this. So now I am selecting merge queries. I have merged employee table and hire table, and now I need to merge the latest table with the location table. I don't need all I don't want to create a new table. So I want to keep the final data in one table. So now I selected merge queries. So here I selected employee hire. This was the new table which we created, and then clicked on merge queries. This is the option we get. So now you select the location table and selected inner join. So it has 5,034 records. So it always gives, even you select left outer join or right outer join or right anti left anti. So it will give you the record count, how many records you are going to see in the final data set. So like this, after hire, it is given like location table information was given as a last column. Same way, just click on the two arrow symbol here, highlighted, just sorry, click on and then select the required columns, like I need only country and state, just and then click OK. If you don't want to use original column name as prefix, earlier as shown, but here I'm selecting because these are three different tables. So if you don't want, okay, just uncheck. While doing the real time, I will do the uncheck option here. To make it clear, I selected this option to show as use original column name as prefix. If you see here, hire dot age in company, like this, when you expand, like when you select required columns, it will show table name dot column name, like this, location dot country, location dot state. So and rename the final data set, and it will give you the final data set employee details. So you have performed merge operation. Let's see a real-time example, whatever I have shown here. We will do that in Power BI Desktop. Now, let's go to Power BI Desktop. So, merge operation. Let's get the data. Let's select the spreadsheet, whichever I have. So now I have employee table here and hire table and location table. Click on edit because I want to verify the data types, and then I have to perform merge operation. So let me group this. Let me close the groups. And here, what is our goal? First, we need to verify the data types. Okay, employee is correct. This is correct. This is correct. Okay, date of birth is correct. As in years, it is showing as decimal. I don't want decimal, so I am converting into numeric. So just okay, wait in. This is correct. This is correct. Salary is correct. SSN and phone number has hyphen, so it is not a number. So it will be treated as text. So remaining everything is correct except the page in the yes. So if you select particular record, it will be shown here like this. So now our goal is take employee table as a base table and perform merge operation. Let's see what all different options available. If you select this one, it shows like you can see here, merge this query with another query in this file to create a new query. If you select this one, it it shows like merge this query with another query in this file. You have to note in this file. So if you select this one, it shows it creates a new query. So for now, I want to create as a new query because I don't want to lose our original data. So as I shown in the slides, you got the employee table as a base table, and now select the required table to do the join. I selected hire table. Now select the join condition on what column you want to perform the join. So if you selected the selection match 5,000 rows, I don't want to do inner join. Sorry, left outer join. I want to do inner join. So I have selected inner join. Now it is showing the selection has matched 5,000 out of the first 5,000 rows. So your final data set will contain 5,000 records. So click OK. So you got merge table. If you go to the end of all the columns, you will see the higher table information in a tabular format. If you want to expand the table, just click on the double arrow, and just as I told, I will uncheck this column because I don't want to see the table name prior to the column. So just I want date of joining and age in company. So let's click on OK. Now you have date of joining and age in company, but I want in a whole number, not in decimals. So just convert the data type. So now you have merged employee and hire information. If you see here, you have the employee information and you have hire information, nothing but date of joining and age in company. So now let's do another merge operation to merge with the final table, like another table. Now I want to merge in the same table because I don't want to keep another table, another query. So I want to merge in the same table. Just this is the merge one table, and with what table you want to merge, just select the required table and select the join criteria, and the select the column on what column you want to do that join. So I have 5034 records in the final data set. So as I told earlier, we will get the result column in a table format. Just click on expand, and as I already selected like uncheck option, like I have unchecked, it is not giving now. In the like as we are in the same window, we have not closed the window. So if you uncheck, it always gives unchecked. So now I want country and state. So if you see the country showing, and sorry, not country, county, and the state. So you have final data set. Just rename the final data set to the required information, required table name, employee details. So the data set was renamed, and your final data set is ready. Now some, like you might have a question like, why we need the, like I have final data set, do we need to show these tables in the final like final view? No need to show, because you have the required information in the final data set. So you can remove these tables from the visibility mode. So what, like how can we do that? Just right click on the table, just select the table and right click. You will see here, if you want to keep it only in the refresh of the data set, just keep this option and click on enable load. It will not load in the final data set. If you see here, it was invisible mode, but it is visible mode. So same way other, to why I am doing this operation is like, if you keep this option enabled, the load process will take time to load the data. So it like the performance constraint, that is one of the note. And another thing is, your final data set looks very clean. Nobody knows what is happening in the behind, like means you have to keep in mind, like business user no need to see in a separate data set, like employee as a separate one, hire as a separate one, location as a separate one. At the same time, you can do the same thing for if you don't want to keep columns, like key columns you can hide. The same thing will be done in the Power BI query editor. Let me show that. How can we do this in Power BI desktop? So you don't want to show employee ID. Just click on hide option. Sorry, in query editor we can do that. Just click on hide. It will hide from the business view. Once your final data set is ready, you can check the count of employees based on gender. Same way, like earlier I selected a particular column and selected count. It will give you the count of employees based on gender, and you can uh, increase the text size as it is invisible. Like we have to make it a user friendly manner. So just like this, just select other visualizations, whatever you want. Trusted column chart. So it is an interactivity based visualization tool. So if you select male, it automatically disable that option like in other visualization. Only it shows the selected option. So just pie chart, just select, I have selected tree map. So this is how. And if you want to bucket the employee count based on age, means how many years, like let me move it, employee count and buckets, just rename it to count distinct. So you can see the age buckets, and we can find out your employees age, average age, and count of employees at that particular age. 21 years you have 70 people, 22 years you have 146 people. Like that you can identify the data set, you can analyze your data set. Now let's go to the next and final topic, append, for today. So let's go to the slides and append. What is append? So append is nothing but union all in or like a T-SQL. So what it will do? Append queries combines the rows of two or more queries together. It is generally used when queries have the same layout of columns, and rows will be appended after each other. Columns will be same number of columns for the resulted query. So if you have 25 rows in one query and you have 50 rows in another query, the final result will be 75 rows. If you see the result column wise, you have first query with the 10 columns, second query with 10 columns, the final result will be 10 columns. So how can we do the append queries option in Power BI query editor? So let's see. Same way like merge operation, merge queries option, we have append queries as well as append queries as new. Same concept. Append queries means it will append the data in the same selected query. Append queries as new means it will append in a new query. Okay. So let's take an example. I have each region sales information in 4 different spreadsheets. So I want, like, our goal is to append these tables and create a new table like sales by region by using Power BI Desktop. So let's see the screens, different screens, how it will come. When you select append queries as new, you will get like this. You have the option like you have only 2 tables, like okay, you select directly 2 tables, and you can have, like, by default it will select the primary table, and you can select the table which you need to append with the primary table. And if you select 3 or more tables, it will give all the available tables on the right hand side, sorry, left hand side, and then you can add each table one by one and click OK. So then it will append the data. So this is the final data set with the append, so that, like, if you see here, east data set and west data set, it appended. So this is the one. Append is nothing but union all in T-SQL, and it will not take care of duplicate records. Means when you append, it will bring all the duplicate records also into the final data set. You have to manually remove that duplicate records from Power BI Desktop by using Power BI Query Editor. I'll show that option how we can delete, remove, like we can, how can we delete the duplicates. Let's go and do in Power BI Desktop. So I'm selecting the data set to do append. Just select the path, copy. If you know the path, that's okay. Just select. As I have 4 different files, I'm selecting folder and give the path. Click on OK. Click on edit. This is nothing but combine option. Sorry, I just select like I'll import one by one table and then do that operation. Sorry, Excel append east sales. I just selected table east, load. Now select north, select north table and load. Select table south sales and select table south and load. Same way, select final table east, north, south was there. Final table west table. Select the table west and click on load. Now go to query editor, and what we need to do, we need to perform append. This was there because we have did something wrong. Instead of importing one by one, we selected multiple files like at a time, so that is why it is giving. So just go to home tab, and you can see here append queries option. I just want to append queries as new and click on option called, like I have 4 region sales data. I'm selecting 3 or more tables. Now you see here, you have multiple tables listed on the right hand side. Each table already taken by default. I'm adding other tables which I want to append. So click on OK. So if you see here, it will load the data from all regions. You see here, west data, south data, north data, and east data. So if you click like same way earlier I did, I don't want to enable in load. Same way for all other 4 tables. So now I have the final table. Just give sales by region and click on close and apply. Just give region sales as it is already there. Just I'm giving region by sales. Just click on close and apply. So now your region sales data set is ready, and you can use the final data set for the visualization. So if you see here, so what is different data set? Let me make it date to have different different bars to see the data. So on Jan 29, 2015, we made total sales of 2,698. So if you want line chart, you can make line chart. You can make area chart. So whatever it is. So whatever you have, scatter chart, waterfall chart. So you can do multiple visualizations. So these are the different options, like different transformations, to make final data set you can perform in your Power BI query editor. So if you have any questions to me, please post it on the comment section so that I can answer your questions. Thank you very much. And I'm winding up the session for now. We will join in the next session for Power BI query editor to understand what is M and what is